Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Did you miss me? Did you miss seeing me on here? Yes or yes? So it has been a while since I did like intros, my videos. I'm like, okay, maybe I should do today's tutorial. Hi, how is everyone doing? If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Jennifer. I'm a bead making tutor here on YouTube. I teach everyone how to make beaded bag mostly on this channel. It's nice having you here. Please do stick around because this place, you're gonna learn a lot here. Today, we're gonna learn how to make this really cute clutch purse. This tutorial was a subscriber's request, and here is the design. Look at that. They call it the bubble clutch. A bubble clutch. You know, the name is like very straightforward because as you can tell from the design, the edges look like bubbles, like floating bubbles. I think I'm loving clutches nowadays. The design is actually very simple to make. The only part that would waste your time or you might struggle with is attaching this on the edges. But I'm gonna try my best to make it very simple to understand, okay? So let's get on with the tutorial.
For this tutorial, you need some beads. We'll be using this melon beads today in size 8mm. You'll also need another bead, but these are for the bubbles on the clutch, and this is in size 18mm. You will also need a pair of magnetic buttons. I got these regular ones, just one of it, okay? And you'd also need your fishing line. Today we're gonna use 0.60mm. And lastly, our scissors. That is all we'll be needing for this. Let's go. We want to start with the base of this bag first. So cut out some line, and on the left hand side of the line, you're going to add 4 beads. Then you drag down 3 and cross both ends of your line into the last one added. And this is what you'll have. You just created your first ring. To proceed, on both sides of the line, we're going to add 1 bead each. On the left, you add 1 bead. On the right, you add another bead. Then you take 1 more bead and cross both ends of your line like this into that bead. Draw it down. And now you have made your second ring. To proceed, repeat what we just did. On both sides of the line, we'll add 1 bead each. On the left, 1 bead. On the right, another bead. Then you take 1 more bead and cross both ends into that bead. Draw that down as well, and now your third ring is complete. So we're gonna keep up with these steps, one on each side, then we cross with 1. We'll keep this going until we get to our desired length. I have done 3 rings so far. I'm gonna do this until I get to 15 rings, but I'll stop at the 14th one because the 15th ring will be different. So let's go. I'm here now on the 14th ring, almost at my desired length. It is now time to complete the 15th one. So this time I won't add 1 bead on each side and cross with 1. No, I'm going to add on the left hand side alone 3 beads. I'll drag down 2, then I'll cross both ends into the last one added. So this is what happens. It takes me over to the other side and not the top. Alright, so this is what we have. We have just completed the first row. To proceed, we want to start a new row now. To do that, I'm going to add on the left hand side alone 3 beads. Then I'll cross both ends of my line into the last one added. We just made the first ring on the second row. To proceed, the right hand side would go into the next bead there. And on the left hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads. Then I'll cross both ends of my line into the last one added. To proceed, let's repeat the same thing. The right hand side goes into the next bead, and on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends into the last one added. And yeah, so we're gonna keep up with this routine until we get all the way down, but stop right here at the second to the last one because the last one will be different. So let us bead until we get all the way there. Let's go. I have beaded all the way down and I'm right here at the second to the last one. So let's complete it together. The right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side I'm going to add 2 beads, then I cross both ends into the last one added. It is now time to complete the last ever one. So as usual, the right hand side will go into the next bead, but this time I won't add 2 beads on the left. I'm gonna add the 2 beads on the right hand side instead. So add 2 beads to the right, then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added, and this is what happens. It takes us over to the other side. Now we have completed the second row. So this is what we have done so far. It is now time to start a new row. Do you remember what we do? We add on the left hand side alone 3 beads, then we cross both ends into the last one. To proceed, what comes next? The right hand side goes into the next bead, and on the left hand side we add 2 beads and cross both ends into the last one added. So let's keep up with the routine until we get all the way down, but let's meet at the second to the last one as usual. Let's go. I'm here at the second to the last one, so let's complete it. On the left we add 2 beads and cross into the last one. To complete the last one, the right hand side will go into the next bead. Then still on that right hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads and cross both ends into the last one added. And now the third row is complete. So this is what we have done so far, and this concludes the making of the base of this bag. The base is 3 rows tall and 15 rings wide. So this is what you want to have. It is now time for the next step, that is building the body of this bag. Let's flip that over. So we're gonna start with 3 beads on the left hand side of the line. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added, and this is what you'll have. Make sure it sits up like this. To proceed, the right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side we're going to add 2 beads and cross both ends of your line into the last one added. To proceed, we'll repeat what we just did. The right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side we add 2 beads and cross into the last one. So you're going to keep up with this routine until we get all around this base. Keep this going until you get all around. Let's meet right here at the second to the last one, because the last one will be different. So let's do that. Let's go. I have beaded all around this, and this is what I have. We are now right here at the second to the last one, so let's complete it together. The right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side I'm going to add 2 beads, then I cross both ends into the last one added. It is now time to complete the last one. Look over here. This right here is like a dead end. Okay, if we decide to go on with our usual routine of going into the next bead and adding 2 to the left, it's gonna bulge on the side. So what you want to do is to go into those 2 beads right there. Once that is done, you then take 1 more bead to close it up. And now the first row is complete. This is what we have. The first row of the body of our bag is complete. This is what it looks like so far, and this is what your work should look like as well. So right now I just taught you how to start a row and how to end the row. To start a row, we start with 3 beads, then we cross into the last one. To proceed, you then keep up with your routine of 2 beads until you get all around this, and when you get all the way down to second to the last one, you have to be mindful of the last one, which is a dead end, so you go into 2 beads and cross into the last one. You're gonna keep up with these steps until you reach your desired height. I have done 1 full row and I am on the second row right now, and I'm gonna keep this going until I get to 10 rows. So let's keep repeating these steps until we get to 10 rows. Let's go. I'm here now at my desired height. I have done this up to 10. This is 10 rows. This is what your work should look like as well. It is now time for the next step, that is creating the cover or the flap of this bag. To do that, let us cut out some line. Then look closely at that bead right there on the edge, that first bead there. You're going to pass your line through it like this. Draw out your line, make sure it is of equal length. Then on the left hand side, you're going to start with 3 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. and this is what you'll have. To proceed, the right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side you're going to add 2 beads, then you cross both ends into the last one added. Let's repeat the same thing. The right hand side goes into the next bead, and on the left hand side we add 2 beads and cross into the last one added. So this is our routine of 2 beads. Let's keep that going until we get all the way down to the second to the last one so that we can end the row together. Let's go. I'm here at the second to the last one, so on the left we add 2 beads and cross into the last one. Now it's complete. To complete the last one, you know how we always end the row? We go into the next bead as usual with the right hand side of our line. Then still on that right hand side, we're going to add 2 beads and cross into the last one. So this will take us over to the other side where we can then start a new row. So let's proceed. To start a new row, what do? We start with 3 beads on the left hand side of our line and cross into the last one. Then the right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left we add 2 beads. So let's keep this going until we get all the way down. Let's go. I'm here now at the second to the last one. On the left I add 2 beads and cross into the last one. Does now complete the last ring again. The right hand side goes into the next bead. Still on that right hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads and cross into the last one. And that's how the process would go. This is what we're going to keep up with until we get to our desired height. I have done 2 complete rows so far for the flap of this bag. I'm going to keep this going until I get to 8 rows. Okay, so let's go. I am here now on the 8th row. This is what I have done so far. So from here on, I'm just going to end my line. And how do I do that? I follow the pattern back, that is trace back the work I am doing. Do it corner by corner until I exhaust the line. I want to make sure the line is very secure in my work, and once that is done, you can also decide to tie your work, then you cut off the excess line. So let's do that. I'm done with that, and this is what it looks like. This is what yours should look like as well. It is now time for the next step. We want to fold in the flap of our bag right now. So from the bottom, I'm gonna count 3 rings. 1, 2, and 3. Then right there on the 3rd ring, I'm going to bend it like this to shape it up. Now, why did I decide to count those 3 rings? Because the sides have a total of 3 rings there, so that is to match it. So let us shape that up more. And this is what you should have. This is what your work should look like. It is now time for the next step, that is attaching the magnetic buttons to our bag. To do that, you want to press the ends first to make it flat. Just press it down like this, very easy to do. And this is what you should have. Repeat the same thing on the other side as well. And now we are done with that. It is now time to locate where the magnetic buttons will be. So to do that, we have to find the middle right here. Since the width of our bag is an odd number, we have to count inwards till we get the middle, and that is the middle right there. So from the middle, I'm going to count 2 rings upwards, 1 and 2. And that is where our magnetic button will be. So let's locate it from the inner part of our flap. We're going to count 2 beads now inwards. So 1 and 2, and that is where the magnetic button will be. You're going to cut out some line and then pass your line through the bottom bead of that 2nd ring inward. Pass it through, draw out your line, make sure it is of equal length. Then you're going to take your magnetic button. Let's start with the flatter one first. Then you pass both ends of your line through the button like this. The one on the left will go to the left and the one on the right will go to the right. Draw it down. Then you're going to cross both ends of your line into the top part of that 2nd ring inwards. The right goes to the left and the left goes to the right. Make sure your work is very tight, okay? This is what you have. Then I'm just going to pass my line again through like the sides of that 2nd ring inwards to make sure it's very secure. I'm done with that, and from here on I'm just going to pass my line around to end it. So let's do that. This is what I have. The button is very firm and secure. This is what you should have as well. It's now time to locate where the opposite side of the button will be. So what do? We bend in our flap so that we can know exactly where the magnetic button will be. Make sure everything is properly aligned, okay? So when we bend the flap like this, we are then going to press that part the button is, press it on the bag so you can know exactly where the magnetic button will be, and that is that ring right there. So that is where our magnetic button will be. Now that we have located where the magnetic button will be, we'll then cut some line and pass it through the bottom part of that ring. Draw out your line. Then you're gonna pass your line through the magnetic button like we did earlier. Both sides will go into both holes there on the button. Once that is done, you will then cross both ends of your line through the top part of that ring. Once that is done, you then pass it through the sides and end your line. So let us do that. I am done attaching the buttons, and this is what it looks like. Look at how firm that is. Let us now close that up to see if it works. And yeah, it does. So this is what your work should look like as well. It is now time for the final part, that is adding the bubbles to this bag. Firstly, let us open up our flap. Let us now start from this side. Look closely at that first bead right there on the edge. You're gonna cut out some line. Then pass your line through the bead like this from on top. Pass it through. Then draw out like enough length but not too long, because this part of the line is what you're going to pass around in your work to make sure the line is very secure. Then you cut off the excess line. So let us do that. I'm done with that. So right now I'm going to take the bigger size of beads and pass it through my line. Then look closely. The next bead after that first bead I went into, I'm going to go into it but from beneath. Let's do that. Let's connect it there. I'm done with that. Now let's adjust it properly. Make sure it sits very nicely in the middle there. And this is what you should have. To proceed, I'm gonna take my line, look closely, then I will trace it through those beads till I come out of this third one right there. So let's do that. I'm done with that now. The next thing I'm going to do is to connect it to that next bead right there. That bead right there, you're gonna pass your line through it. Once that is done, I will then trace through those beads till I come out of that bead right there. So let's do that. I am out of here now. So this right here is another spot. So I'm gonna pass another bead through my line right now. Draw it down, then I'll connect it into that next bead right there, but from beneath. So let's do that. Make sure it sits well in the middle right there and tighten it very tightly. The next thing I will then do, like we did earlier, I'm going to trace through those beads right there till I come out of that bead. I am out of there now. Then I will connect it to that next bead right there. I'm done with that. I will then trace through those beads right there till I come out to another spot. So I'm out of here again at another spot. I will then add my beads. You know, this routine is very simple and straightforward. We're just gonna keep up with the same routine until we get all the way down. So I want you to meet me at like the ever last spot there on this lane. So let's get there together. I'm here at the last spot on this lane, so as usual we connect it to the next bead right there from beneath. Once that is done, I will then connect it to those beads right there. I'm gonna trace through them till I come out of that last bead. I'm done with that. Now look closely at this part. I'm gonna connect to that next bead. I'm out of there. The next thing I will then do is to trace through those beads till I get back to that bead I went beneath earlier. Trace through those beads till you come out of that bead right there. So let's do that. I'm out of there now. So this next part is very important. I want to make sure this lane is very secure now, because as you can see it is loose. So we're gonna pass our line through it like this to make sure everything is on the straight line and is properly aligned. So let us do that right now. I am out of there now, and this is what I have. Keep tugging at it to make sure it is very tight. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to then connect my line into that bead right there. That bead right there, pass your line through it, draw it out, and from here on you're just going to pass your remaining line around your work to make sure it is secure and firm, and then you cut off the excess line. So let's do that. I'm done with that, and this is what I have. Look at how firm it looks now. It's no longer loose like we saw earlier. So this is what your work should look like. You then want to repeat everything we have done on all sides of the bag and at the bottom part as well. So let's repeat everything on all sides. Let's do that. So this is what I have done so far, guys. I have added the bubbles on all sides, but this bottom part right here, I encountered a problem. So I want to walk you through this process so you won't be stuck like I was. So let's do that. I'm gonna cut out some line, cut out enough, okay? Then you're gonna pass your line through that first bead on the edge like this. Draw it out. Then this part of the line is what you're going to pass around in your work to make it secure. So let's do that. I am done with that. So this time around I'm going to add 2 beads to my line. You know, on the previous lane I added just 1 bead on the edge, but this time I'll add 2 beads to my line. Then I'm going to connect it to the next bead from beneath. Okay, so let's do that. I'm done with that. Let's make sure our work is very tight. And now I'm going to trace my line through those beads till I come out of that bead right there. I am out of there. Then I'm gonna connect it to that next bead. I'm done with that. Then I'm going to trace through those beads right there until I get to another spot, that is this bead right here. So let's do that. I'm out of there, and now I'm going to continue with my routine of just 1 bead. Okay, I'm gonna pass 1 bead through my line. Then I'm gonna connect it to that next bead there from beneath. Then we'll trace through those beads till it gets over to that bead right there. Once that is done, we'll then connect it to the next bead, then trace through those beads till it gets to another spot. We are now at this spot, so we need to pay close attention right here. This part right here is like the middle of our bag. Remember, the width of our bag is 15 rings, and that is an odd number. So we have to locate the middle one, that is this spot right here. Next thing I'm going to do right now is to pass 1 bead through my line. Then I'm going to connect it into that same bead that I won't go beneath the next bead. I'm going to go still into that bead Pass your line through that bead, draw that out, and this is what you have. To proceed, I'm then going to trace through those beads till I come out of that bead right there. I am out of there now. Then I'm gonna connect it to that next bead right there, and then trace back until I get to another spot where I will then continue with my usual routine. So this is how the routine of the beads would go. As usual, keep adding and adding, but I want you to meet me right there at the last ever spot. Okay, so let's go. I have kept up with my routine and I'm right here at the last ever spot. So right here I'm going to add 2 beads this time. I'm gonna pass 2 beads through my line like we did earlier at the other edge. So pass 2 beads through your line, then connect it to the next bead from beneath. Once that is done, you then trace through those beads right there till you come out of that bead. So let's do that. I am out of there now. I will then connect it to that next bead right there. Then I'm gonna trace it till I get to this bead right there, the same bead we went beneath. So let's do that. I am here now, and it is time to then join all the beads to make sure it's properly aligned, for it to be very firm, just like we did earlier. So let us do that now. We're gonna pass your line through those beads until you get to the other side. Let's go. I am here now, and this is what we have so far. Our work is now firm. So now I'm just going to pass around my line, to end my line, and I'm gonna cut off the excess line. So let us do that. I'm done with that, and here is what we have. This is what your work should look like. It is now time for the final part. What I want to do right now is to cut out some line and pass it through our work for much more firmness. We want to make sure everything sticks together and it is very firm. So let us do that now. I'm here at the end now. Then I'm gonna tug at my work, draw it tightly with all my strength to make sure everything is very tight and firm. Once that is done, I will then pass both ends all around my back to end the line. So let us do that. I am done with that, and this is what I have. Look at how firm that is. This is what your work should look like as well. And finally, we are done with our bag, guys. This is so cute. I really love the design, especially the bubbles. I like how chunky it looks. Will you be recreating this? Well, it would be nice if you do. I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please like, share to your friends that would love to recreate this bag. And I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Bye.